cheating wife, her shopping addiction, and the battle for fatherhood in a reality show-worthy drama. My wife has developed a serious gym addiction, and honestly, it's tearing our marriage apart. She's 30 now, and working out has always been a part of her routine. She's always been in great shape, but lately, it feels like it's gone from healthy to obsessive. Back in college, she was a regular at the gym, but for a while, life got busy, and she shifted to home workouts or going for outdoor runs. Then, about 18 months ago, she suddenly decided to get back into the gym life full force. She had more free time with her new job, so it made sense at first. Started off like any normal routine, but slowly it spiraled. She began signing up for weekend classes, both Saturday and Sunday. Before I knew it, she was hitting the gym every single day. Mornings before work, then again in the evenings. It became a constant thing. Anytime she's stressed or going through something tough, her answer is to run straight to the gym. We argue? Off to the gym. Some life crisis? The gym again. She's 4 months pregnant now, and to be honest, I'm surprised we even found time to make that happen with how much she's away at the gym. I get that it's generally safe for her to exercise, especially since it's been part of her routine long before the pregnancy. But her intensity hasn't let up at all. If she misses just one workout, she turns into a completely different person. Irritable, like she's desperate for a fix. It's honestly a bit scary. It's like too much of a good thing has gone way wrong. Naturally, when I bring up my concerns about how her gym obsession is getting unhealthy, she gets defensive. I tell her I miss spending time together because she's always there, but that only seems to upset her more. She's built this whole new circle of friends at the gym, and it really feels like she'd rather hang out with them than be home with me. I even suggested we go to the gym together, but apparently, that's her time, and I'm not invited. This isn't me feeling insecure or anything. I'm in shape too. My job actually requires me to stay fit, so it's not like I'm just sitting around on the couch while she's off being a gym rat. I genuinely think her gym habits have gotten out of control. It's not just about overexercising, which is a real thing, but it feels like she's using the gym to escape everything else in life. Anytime something goes wrong, instead of dealing with it, she disappears into her workouts, comes back with an endorphin high, and acts like everything's fine. On top of that, she doesn't seem to get anything done around the house. How could she, when she's always at the gym? I've had to pick up all the slack, cleaning, cooking, you name it. If a meal's getting made, it's because I'm the one doing it. I don't expect my wife to do all the household chores, but it would be nice if we shared the responsibility. Lately, it's like everything has fallen on me, and people around us are starting to notice. Friends and family have even made comments, saying things like, "She sure is at the gym a lot," or that she seems different these days. Some have even hinted that maybe she's having an affair with someone there. I mean, that sounds wild, right? Please tell me this doesn't seem normal to you. Of course, my wife insists it's all perfectly normal. I'm not so sure. When I brought it up online to get some advice, a lot of people shared their opinions. One person suggested that she's probably overwhelmed by life and uses the gym as an escape. Honestly, that clicked. She's always been a bit of a control freak, and life has a way of doing its thing, throwing you curveballs that you can't always control. The gym, though, there she's in charge. It's the same reason you see so many perfectionists in bodybuilding, always chasing control. When I read that, I couldn't help but think, yeah, that's her. She's constantly stressed, worrying about everything. Her job is a huge part of that stress. She's come close to having some real breakdowns over it, and it was actually her work that told her to find some way to cope with the pressure. That's when she got back into the gym routine. Another person chimed in, saying the idea of her having an affair seems far-fetched, but added that they could relate to the obsession. This person admitted to spending 3 hours a day in the gym, splitting time between 2 sessions, and running 30 to 40 miles a week at one point. If their plans changed or they missed a workout, they get super annoyed, stressed out, and couldn't enjoy anything until they made it up. It reminded me so much of my wife's behavior. They also said that exercise addiction is real, and for someone like her, with pregnancy changing her body and life, working out could be the only way she feels in control. It's almost like a form of OCD. She needs the gym to feel okay, and over time she'll need more and more to get the same high. Someone even joked that maybe she's pumping iron, to prepare for the ultimate baby lift. Maybe there's some truth to that. Pregnancy brings a lot of changes, and maybe the gym is her way of handling them. But I also know once the baby gets here, both of us are going to be doing reps of a different kind, diapers and sleepless nights. So maybe this gym grind is her way of bracing for that. Update. My wife's gym obsession is still causing major problems in our marriage. Like I mentioned before, she spends nearly all of her free time there. She's often going twice a day, and sometimes even more than that. It's really starting to wear on me, and I don't know how much longer I can take it. There have been times where we'll argue at night, and instead of talking things through, she bolts off to the gym. She doesn't want to deal with the issue, just wants to escape it. What's frustrating is that she won't let me come with her to her gym, and she refuses to go to mine. It's like her gym is her sacred place, and mine is off limits to her. That's how she wants it. I've invited her to come along with me so many times, hoping it could be something we do together. But nope, she's not interested. Right now, she's about 18 weeks pregnant. This is our first baby. Before she got pregnant, she was a total workout fanatic, and nothing's really changed. She's still going just as hard. Honestly, I never thought she was cheating on me. In my last post, a few people suggested it, and I just laughed it off. I mean, it's clear she's at the gym a lot, her body shows it. She's in fantastic shape, so I figured, obviously, that's where she's spending her time. When I first wrote about this 9 days ago, cheating wasn't even on my radar. But after reading all the comments, I started questioning myself. Maybe I was being too confident in trusting her. Then something happened. She's usually glued to her phone, always has it on her. But one day, she left it on the kitchen counter. I'm embarrassed to say this, but curiosity got the better of me. I swiped through her texts, feeling like a total idiot the whole time. There was a recent conversation with a guy whose name I recognized. Someone from the gym. She talks about him a lot, and I even remember us going to one of his friends' weddings last fall. Up until then, I wasn't too worried. But when I started reading the messages, my stomach dropped. Never in my life did I want to know what another guy's junk looked like. But now I do, thanks to her texts. I was scrolling fast because she was only out of the room for a minute or two, but I saw enough to make me sick. I was furious. As soon as she came back in, I demanded to know what the hell that conversation was about. Instead of explaining, she immediately started yelling at me for looking at her phone. I told her flat out that her weird behavior and this gym obsession had been bothering me. And yeah, I was ashamed I snooped, but I honestly thought I'd find nothing. She kept saying, "It's nothing. It's nothing." But it didn't look like nothing to me. She sure seemed interested in his nothing. I asked her point blank if she's been sleeping with him and for how long. She just kept denying it. At that point, I was beyond angry. I left the house, but not before I slammed her phone on the floor, shattering it. She started screaming at me, calling me every name in the book for breaking her phone. Then, she hit me, right on my back, as hard as she could. I couldn't take it anymore and went to my brother's house. My brother and sister-in-law were shocked, especially since my sister-in-law has been the most vocal about my wife's gym obsession being weird. She's been bringing it up to me constantly, and now I can see why. When I finally went back home, my wife was in bed, crying. With her phone destroyed, she obviously couldn't call me or anyone else. She was laying on the guilt thick, but at that point, I didn't even know how to feel anymore. She didn't deserve it, but I took her phone to get it repaired anyway. I still feel like a jerk for smashing it, even though she had it coming. The truth is, I don't know how deep this mess goes. She won't admit to anything more than what I already saw. Was it just sexting? Honestly, that's bad enough, but I'm convinced there's more. She's refusing to hand over her phone now and is trying to flip the script, acting like I'm the monster because I broke it. Not my proudest moment, I'll admit, but after she punched me, I seriously wanted to slam her into the ground. I've never laid a hand on her, and I never would, but I was that mad. Now, I'm sitting here waiting to see how everyone reacts. I mean, this situation is bad, like really bad, and it feels like it's about to get a whole lot worse. Some of the comments have been brutal but honest. One person cut straight through the BS and told me what I'm starting to believe. My wife is 100% having an affair, and it's not just some flirty texts. It's physical, and she's been lying to me about it for a long time. What I saw on her phone. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Given how she's always insisted on having her own gym space, separate from mine, this affair probably started before she even got pregnant. And then the thought hits me, what if the baby isn't mine? I mean, the implications are there, and I'd be lying if I said it didn't cross my mind. She's already proven she can lie, and she's still lying now. She wasn't in bed crying over me. She was crying because she got caught, and now she's worried about what happens to her. It's clear she's selfish, and she doesn't really care about me. Those tears? Total crocodile tears. This is a 5-alarm fire, and I know things are going to get much worse before they get better. I can't control what she does, but I can control how I respond. One commenter said I have some leverage now, and I need to use it. I should demand full access to her phone history, social media, deleted messages, everything. Not because I think it'll save our marriage, but because it'll make the truth undeniable. I've got to stay strong and keep my head on straight, even if it feels like my whole world is collapsing. Honestly, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this. I wanted to believe she wasn't capable of something like this, but I guess you can't always give people the benefit of the doubt. Looks like our marriage is getting into cardio, too, running away from the truth. Who needs couples therapy when you can just avoid your problems and hit the gym separately, right? At least now I understand why she's been working on those squats so much. Gotta stay in shape for all the wrong reasons. Those strong legs aren't just for the gym, they're for running away from every confrontation. And yeah, it's hard not to wonder now if the baby in her belly is even mine. I hate to think like that, but here we are. Update. Not sure if posting on my profile will get seen, but I really don't feel like making another post in a subreddit today. Yesterday, my wife asked me to stay home from work so we could talk. After everything went down, she spent the entire day lying in bed, trying to get me to feel sorry for her. But I didn't pay her any attention. Instead, I left to go to my family's Super Bowl party. Honestly, I wasn't in the mood to be there, but I sure wasn't about to sit at home with her. Leaving really seemed to bother her. She kept texting me things like, "Who just leaves like that when something this big is happening?" Or, "Who's that cold and callous that they just walk out to go to a party?" I ignored her messages, but today, I stayed home like she asked, to hear her out. So we talked. The tears came right away. She's so sorry, of course. According to her, yeah, she really was going to the gym twice a day because she enjoys it. That's where her friends are, it makes her feel good, and she has fun there. Then she admitted to meeting this guy at the gym, and apparently everyone likes him. He's one of the most popular guys there. I didn't even know gyms had popular people, but okay. She confessed that it started with harmless flirting. He was into her, and at first she didn't reciprocate much, but he gave her butterflies. She said it reminded her of having a crush back in school. Over time, they started texting. At first, it was just friendly, nothing sexual for months. But she'd get all giddy every time she saw his name pop up. She said she was attracted to him but made it clear that she was married and couldn't let anything happen between them. According to her, he just kept flirting anyway, saying, "Sure, we won't cross the line." Until, of course, they did. She told me she tried to resist it for a while, but then one day they kissed. She admitted that she enjoyed it but knew it was wrong. But, apparently, she didn't feel that bad about it because later that night, they slept together for the first time. She described it like falling in love for the first time, saying all she could think about was him after that. Is she in love with him? She says she doesn't know. Is the baby mine? She thinks so, but there's a chance it could be his. According to her, he always used a condom, so she doesn't think it's his. But yeah, they were sleeping together right around the time she got pregnant. She says she loves me, but she can't help that there's this huge spark between them. And now, here we are. She doesn't know if she loves him. She doesn't know if the baby is mine. And I'm just sitting here trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do next. She told me she doesn't know why she did this. And even worse, she has no clue what we should do next. Then came the nail in the coffin. She looked me in the eye and had the audacity to ask, "You wouldn't really leave me if it's not your baby, would you?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told her straight up, of course I would leave. There's no way I'm raising another man's child. She looked completely shocked, like she couldn't believe I'd say that. Really? After everything we've been through, all our history, you wouldn't even consider staying. She can't be serious. I told her no, I wouldn't even entertain the idea. She agreed to get a DNA test, but the way she agreed, cheerfully, like I'm supposed to feel sorry for her, made me sick. I don't even recognize this woman anymore. She cried the whole time, but they weren't tears of shame or guilt. No, these were tears for herself, meant to make me feel bad. Feel bad for what? That her heart is supposedly so torn? Now, time for more community reactions. One person nailed it. They said the good news is, she's given me all the information I need to make the right decision. Every little detail she spilled only confirmed that I can't stay with her for 1 second longer. Even if the child turns out to be mine, staying married to her isn't an option. A lot of people successfully co-parent, and it's a far better situation than being stuck in this mess. As much as this whole thing hurts, they pointed out that at least the cloud of uncertainty is gone. I know what I need to do now. I just have to do it. And sure, that doesn't make it easy. It's probably going to be the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. But the fact is, ending this marriage is the right call. My reply: she's ruined my life, but right now, I just feel numb. I barely feel anything at all. It would have been bad enough if she had an affair and cheated on me, but she couldn't even stop when she found out she was pregnant. At least then, I could have walked away clean if the baby wasn't mine. Maybe I still can, but I won't know until we get the DNA test results back. She's almost certain the baby is mine, so if that's the case, I'll be stuck dealing with her forever. Our child will grow up with divorced parents, and their mom will be the gym bike. Maybe she'll even move closer to her family and take my kid with her. Then again, that would mean leaving the guy who gives her butterflies and screws her in gym changing rooms. The thrill, the excitement. How can I even blame her? She's ruined fatherhood for me. Whether this kid is mine or not, the experience is already tainted. And if by some chance this isn't my baby and I can break free from all of this, how do I move forward? How do I not feel completely broken after everything she's done? I used to think about the day I'd start a family, and I was beyond excited to have this baby with her. Even though we didn't plan for it, I was genuinely happy. We had names picked out, and I was there for everything. Now, she's done this to me, not just to me, but to this poor kid, too, regardless of who their father is. Yikes. I'm sorry, OP. Take some time to process this twisted circus of events. It's like playing a messed up game of, guess who's the daddy? You've been dealt a tough hand. Let's be real. She's not sorry for cheating. She's just sorry she got caught. Everything's fun and games until you accidentally get knocked up by your affair partner. And let's face it, she had no intention of telling you that the baby might not be yours. She just didn't want to end up pregnant and alone. Update. My wife is officially moving in with her affair partner. They're in love. My life has basically become a trashy daytime talk show. The woman I once called my wife, the one I thought was a classy, respectable person, has turned into complete trailer trash. Today, she announced that she's moving in with her gym fling. She's pregnant, but hey, maybe it's his kid, maybe it's mine. The kicker? She's too embarrassed to get the blood drawn for a paternity test. Really? For the past week, she's been trying to get my attention, trying to guilt me into talking to her, hoping I'd beg her to stay with me. But I didn't fall for any of it. I've been ignoring her for the most part. When we do have to talk, I keep it short and to the point. We've been living under the same roof this whole time, but I'm in a different room, and we function separately in every way possible. Her pouting and attempts to earn brownie points for not going to the gym for 5 days straight didn't work on me. Then, today, she texted me to say she's moving in with him. Here's the weird part. Somehow, I still care about this person. I've already met with a lawyer, though. I know I can care about her as a human being, and possibly the mother of my child, without staying married to her. Still, it stung hearing her say she's going to be with him. I told her it's not a smart move to leave the house, and I even suggested she meet with a lawyer. But she doesn't care about anything I have to say. I don't think she needs to move in with anyone right now. Honestly, I feel bad for her. She can't seem to stand being on her own. It's like she's jumping from one mess to the next. I asked if the guy even knows she's pregnant and wondered what kind of story she's been feeding him this whole time. She told me, yeah, he knows, and he doesn't care if it's your baby. He loves me and wants to be with me. Bizarre. I mean, really? You can't find anyone else but a married, pregnant woman? Why would you sign up for that kind of drama? None of this makes sense to me. He's scum, but apparently he's good-looking scum, gainfully employed and even owns his own home. So don't tell me my married, pregnant wife is somehow his only option. I just can't wrap my head around being a single guy with everything going for me and willingly taking on this kind of baggage. If it were me, I'd have other options. And if this baby turns out to be mine, what then? They'll be living with my wife and this weasel 50% of the time? How did my life turn into such a mess? And yet, she's too embarrassed to get her blood drawn for a paternity test. Unbelievable. Update. My wife has agreed to the paternity test. She moved in with her affair partner last weekend, but strangely, she didn't take much with her. Most of her stuff is still here in the house. It feels like she was waiting for me to beg her to come back, but I haven't reached out to her at all since she left. Honestly, it's been a strange mix of relief, anger, and sadness. I didn't even eat until last night, just didn't feel hungry. I drank a little too much, but I'm fine now. I'm posting this update because I've been getting a ton of messages, and it's emotionally draining to respond to each one and repeat the same things over and over. Honestly, I'm just tired of talking about her. So this morning, she texted me to say that her affair partner wants to get a DNA test done. Now all of a sudden, she's on board with it. Funny how when I wanted the test, it didn't matter, but now that he wants one, it's a great idea. She even asked if I wanted to submit a sample too, since it'll be cheaper to have both of us tested as part of one package. At this point, I don't care about the cost, I just want an answer. Luckily, I don't have to interact with them at all. I just have to make my own appointment with the lab for a cheek swab. So this Saturday, I'm going to do that. We should have the results in about a week. I'll take whatever I can get at this point. Anything to stop her from dragging this out for another 20 weeks. That's it for now. I'm fine. I'm going to work every day trying to function, but I just feel stuck in limbo. I miss her, and I hate that she's there with him. It makes me sick. Part of me wants to beg her to come home, and if I find out this is my baby, it'll be even worse knowing she's with him. Unless he drops her once the truth comes out, I'll be stuck in this nightmare. But I won't let myself beg. I'm not playing those games with her. The community had some thoughts. This morning, she texted me to say her affair partner wants a DNA test, so she's going to do it. I can almost guarantee you that he only agreed to move her in on the condition they get the test done. It's pretty clear to me now. She probably told him he was the dad to lock him in, and now that she's moved in and they've had some real conversations outside of those locker room quickies, he's realizing that I might be the father. That's why he suddenly wants a DNA test before going any further with her. I can almost guarantee that if it comes back that I'm the dad, he'll send her packing. If I were in his shoes, I'd probably do the same. And if I were you, I'd already have the divorce papers filed and the locks changed. She moved out on her own. This isn't her home anymore. While the divorce might not be finalized before she gives birth, you can absolutely get 99% of the process done before then. As much as you don't want to, she also needs to tell her parents that she's moved out and is now living with her boyfriend and baby daddy. And if they need to reach her, they can call her over there, not at your house. OP replies, "Yeah, I'm positive that's what's happening too. And if it turns out the baby is mine and he kicks her out, what then? I know I'll probably end up letting her come back here, not to stay married or anything, but if she's carrying my child, I can't let her be homeless. I'm trying not to think about all the what-ifs right now and just take it one day at a time, but man, that's easier said than done. It's wild that we were even living together up until she moved out. Seriously, her sudden relocation to the Love Shack with her gym buddy feels like something straight out of a trashy reality TV show. I've got to give myself credit, though. I managed to keep my cool while living under the same roof as someone who's about to become a full-fledged trailer park queen. It was like starring in my own episode of Living with the Enemy. But now that she's flown the coop, at least I've got my space back. And some of my sanity, too. Still, it's tough. I'm stuck in limbo until I find out if I'm the father. I guess the affair partner's in the same boat. He's just taking care of her until he knows for sure whether it's his kid or not. Either way, I have a feeling he's the kind of guy who won't hesitate to cut her loose if the baby isn't his. Final update. Here's an update on my wife's affair and the pregnancy. This post actually got deleted from the surviving infidelity subreddit, probably because I mentioned wanting to punch someone. Anyway, my wife's been having an affair with this guy she met at the gym for almost a year now. She's around 22 weeks pregnant, and when I found out about her cheating, she was about 17 weeks along. From the start, she kept saying she was sure I was the father but refused to get a paternity test to ease my mind. Well, we finally had the test done. We did the paternity test at the request of her affair partner, and it turns out the baby is mine. I've been all over the place emotionally ever since I got the results. At first, I thought I wanted to be completely done with her, no lifelong ties, no sharing a kid together. But when I found out I was the father, there was a weird sense of relief. After all, I'd already spent months getting my head around the idea of becoming a dad, before I even knew she was cheating. Sometimes, though, I have these moments where I just can't believe this is my life, that this is the situation my kid will be born into. And in those moments, I hate her for it. She's still living with him, but all her stuff is still here in our house. I'm not about to pack it all up for her. I refuse. She doesn't seem too concerned about taking anything beyond the essentials, either. After we got the news that I'm the baby's father, she texted me, saying she's glad I'm the dad and that she knows I'll be a great father. Last night, she even texted me new baby name ideas. I ignored her calls. I'm only communicating with her through text at this point. This morning, she asked if she could swing by to pick up a few things, and I said fine. My lawyer has advised me not to prevent her from entering the house, so I agreed but told her flat out that her boyfriend better not be with her. Guess who shows up with her anyway? That's right, the scumbag himself. He walked right into the house behind her, acting like it was no big deal. She ran upstairs to grab her things, and I was left standing there in the living room with him. He had the nerve to tell me it wasn't her fault he was there. She told him I didn't want him to come, but he insisted. Supposedly, he wanted to talk to me, to understand how I must be feeling. No, he doesn't. He has no clue how I feel. He went on to tell me he knows I probably don't believe him, but he genuinely loves her and always knew he wasn't the father. He said he accepts it and wanted to assure me he's not trying to replace me as the baby's father. Then, he had the audacity to say he hopes we can get along, since we're both going to be part of her life now. Oh, and don't worry, he says. He's looking after her. I couldn't help myself. I told him I had no idea what he could possibly want with a pregnant woman carrying another man's child, and frankly, I found it weird. Then I told him if he didn't get out of my house, I'd punch him. After that, I went upstairs and found her rummaging through the bathroom for some things. I asked her straight up why she brought him along and told her it's bizarre that he still wants to be with her, especially now that he knows he has nothing to do with this baby. I made it clear I don't want him having anything to do with my child. She claimed he talked her into coming, and she's sorry, said she never meant for any of this to happen. But then she hit me with the line that broke me. She's in love with him now. Apparently, 30-year-old her has decided he is what she's looking for, not me. She went on to say they're setting up a nursery at his house, and I can do the same at mine. She even added that she has no intention of going after full custody. She doesn't want to keep me from being involved in our child's life. How generous of her. We went downstairs, and guess who's still standing there in my living room? Him. Without even thinking, I just walked up and punched him. He stumbled back and crashed into the table. She freaked out, screaming, "What the F?" and ran over to check on him. Couldn't care less. He deserved it, and it wouldn't have happened if he had just left when I told him to. A few hours later, she texted me, apologizing for what happened earlier. She said he really meant what he said. Apparently, he's a good guy who genuinely cares about her and, get this, respects me. What the actual F? He respects me? The same guy who was screwing my wife in the gym locker room? I couldn't believe what I was reading. I shot back at her, saying, "You can't be serious." She responded with, "Fine, I'm trying to have a mature conversation about this. I can't help that we fell in love. Believe it or not, I'm not trying to hurt you, and I want everything to be amicable." Amicable? This guy stole my wife, and now he's taking over my role as a father too. Sure, I'm the biological dad, but they're setting up a nursery together in his house. I've tried not to feel jealous or angry, tried to keep telling myself that he's just the trash man who picked up what I threw out. Sometimes that helps, but the truth is, I loved her. I still love her. As much as I know I can't stay married to her, on principle alone, this is devastating. Feels like my world's crumbling. And there you have it, folks. The paternity test results are in, and drumroll please, I am the father. Don't even get me started on the audacity of her bringing her side piece into my house like it's a casual meet and greet. Talk about adding insult to injury. Everything that came out of his mouth was pure BS. And honestly, I feel terrible. There's a long road ahead for me, and I'm not sure how to navigate it. And let's be real, the last thing you want is to try to navigate this mess without a solid legal expert on your side. Do yourself a favor and pick up the phone. It's time to call in the big guns. Trust me, you'll be glad you did when you're not drowning in legal paperwork or regret down the line. What would you do in a situation like this? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments below. Thanks for sticking with me through this wild ride. If you found this story helpful or interesting, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future updates. See you next time.